welcome to the latest edition of Work Liberated. I'm Margaret Graziano, and my guest today is Shira Abel. She's a speaker, a strategist, a marketer, and her special secret sauce is teaching people how to understand the dynamics of human behavior, why they do what they do, how they do what they do, what's underneath it. I'm super excited about working with her since my day job is organizational culture. So Shira, give us a high level overview of why we should care what's underlying people's motivations.
Well, I come from decades in sales and marketing. So as you understand, in sales and marketing, everything is what is the motivation underneath the reason why they make the decision to buy. And how do you persuade, influence, motivate, coax? And in B2B, there can't be a manipulation to it because manipulations wear off and then they churn. So it has to come from the point of view. It has to come from an honest point of view. And I come from the B2B deep tech side. So it has to come
deep tech. And if it's not there, people will drop their subscription.
It's high value. These are large deals. Nobody's going to spend $500,000 on your product because you push them to do it. That's just not going to happen. So it has to be where you work with them. You bring value. You show why this is good for them. So it's important to understand, okay, well, if I need to show that this is good for them, why is it good for them? How do I know this? How can I help them? And so for that, you have to understand them.
Good. And in the world of organizational culture, it sounds, even as I'm getting ready to say this, I'm like, this is so common sense. And I think sometimes in the busyness of life, common sense disappears.
Yes.
And, we've got, I think the statistics haven't changed. So I was in recruiting. You and I will get to know each other more, but I spent 25 years in recruiting before I was an executive coach and a consultant around culture. And the statistics were then that 79% of the people in an employer's organization would take a recruiting call, and that 60% would leave if they just got a little bit better of an opportunity and a promise for a better future.
Yeah.
And it's the same. And that was, I sold in 2008. So we're going on 20 years almost.
15, 2008.
2008.
15 years.
2025. So we're close.
20, yeah, almost 20. Yeah. Oh gosh.
I mean, it's
2025. It's not 2023. It's 2020. Oh my God.
It's hard,
yes, it's like 17 years.
Yeah, it hasn't changed. And as a matter of fact, I don't remember this much chaos, confusion, volatility, uncertainty, when I was raising my kids. I mean, 9/11 did happen and there was all that stuff going on, but I just don't remember all of this. And I think that even makes employee engagement worse because people are kind of silently struggling, or not silent, their performance is struggling. So tell me how what you do and did in sales, marketing, how people can apply that to organizational culture and motivating employees or inspiring employees to be motivated.
So a lot of what we did, I had an agency, and a lot of it was account-based marketing. So everything was relationship-based. And in the companies that I worked with, all of them were large value deals, and that sale is relationship-based. So I've come up with a framework that is called the perception formula. And if you think about it, all right, you're looking at the perception of the other side, how you are perceived. So perception is a three-legged stool. It is heuristics, which are mental shortcuts. Okay. Things like you get what you pay for or scarcity, this type of thing. Hormones. But because it's a practitioner's framework, it's only the hormones that can be triggered. So hormones like dopamine, cortisol. Do you have your phone next to you when you wake up? You're addicted to dopamine. So these type of things, how we can trigger the hormone. And then history. What interactions have you had with someone before? So if we're talking about this in terms of HR purposes and organizational behavior, it could be, how is this person behaving at work? Are they behaving the way you want them to? Are they engaged as much as you want them to? What's your relationship with them? What's that history? And then while that's a three-legged stool, so if one of those are missing, you have no perception. They're not thinking of you at all. You have the way to target, and that is heritage. So it's perception is equal to the function of, in a mathematical format, perception is equal to the function of heuristics, hormones, history, and heritage. Heritage is our cultural background. That feeds into our heuristics. Because somebody from New York, okay, is going to have a different way of reading a room than, say, somebody from the Midwest or somebody who grew up in Eastern Germany may come to the US for university, but they may read a room differently than somebody from California.
Okay, good. So this is really good for this global organizations.
Yes.
And one size fits all. You're saying, no, there is no one size fits all. We have to actually get to know people, but you're actually bringing science in to the get to know people. So the 4 H's. So heuristics, I started reading about that with Thinking Fast, Thinking Slow. And,
Kahneman is amazing.
You see a car on fire on the side of the road, and next time you drive by that road, you're like unconsciously looking for the car, or I don't want to go down that road, or and so I want you to talk a little bit about heuristics. And then hormones, we all get, we've all seen, and if we haven't, we should see Inside Out, which is the emotions and the hormones that are behind the scenes for the emotions. Mm-hmm. And then history is what is our past. I imagine not just with this person, but the past that we're bringing in.
Well, that's more on the heritage side.
Oh, okay, good. So history in the relationship.
Yes.
And then the heritage is all of our past, not just societal past. It could be our family heritage.
Exactly it.
Our family traumas, et cetera. This is really good. Okay, so give me a couple minutes on heuristics. I'm not going to read Thinking Fast, Thinking Slow. I just want to understand what that means and how to use it in my day-to-day life, either as an employee who wants to feel liberated, free, above the power and freedom line, or as a manager who just wants to be better with people.
Okay, so heuristics are our mental shortcuts, right? So different cultures react to different things in different ways. And the way we're raised, okay, there are some cultures where you want to make sure they save face. So when you frame things, you have to frame it in a way where nothing is a negative. Everything is framed in a way where it's an explanation, but not a shameful explanation. So heuristics are our mental shortcuts. When you see, I'll give you some examples from marketing and sales. If you go into the Real and you put something in your cart, you have 15 minutes to purchase that item. Same thing with Net-a-Porter, a bunch of different sites. Okay, that's scarcity. You have a limited time. Somebody else can get it after that. They're pushing you to make a decision. So if you are working with someone, do they feel safe working with you? What atmosphere are you creating with them? What heuristics are you pushing? If you're telling people that you really care about their mental health, but then you're pushing everyone in meetings to work harder, faster, more, all of this, and putting stress on them, how is your message aligning with your actions? When they don't align, there's cognitive dissonance, and that makes people feel unsafe and uncomfortable. Does this make sense?
It totally makes sense, but I still don't get the shortcut piece.
Okay. So, okay.
And I think you were on it when you were talking about saving face. Like, so there are some Eastern cultures where it is about saving face. First of all, what does saving face mean?
Saving face means do not embarrass them in any way. And don't, and also it's a matter of pride, right?
Okay, got it. So that could be every culture. Everybody wants to save face. Everybody wants to be part of the tribe.
But some cultures feel significantly easier about giving blunt. Okay, the Dutch. You will not find a group of people more blunt than the Dutch. They are going to tell you exactly what they think. This is what makes sense. And it is nothing personal. And why are you taking it personally? But I do not like this. It is not good. You didn't do the right job here. This doesn't make any sense. This is stupid. Blah, blah, blah. This is the Dutch.
Now, tell me where the heuristics comes in. Here I am. I'm with it. I'm a person who wants a safe face, and I work for a Dutch. And another way we could say this, if you understand the DISC profile, there's the very highly dominant, decisive, get to the point. We're going to call that the Dutch. And then there's the stable, steady. I take pride in doing a good job. I'm a good person. I don't cause any waves. And I do often hear feedback as criticism, but I don't even know I'm doing it. So now what's a heuristic?
Okay. So in this case, we are looking at the heritage side of it, right? And the heritage side is influencing their heuristics. The Dutch look at things from a very matter-of-fact point of way. This makes sense or it doesn't make sense. And then the side where saving face is important, they're looking at it from a group dynamic point of view, right? Where we all want to get along and we all want to like make everything nice and calm. And I will hurt myself to help the group.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm Dutch. Anyway, but what's the quick connection I make, the shortcut in my brain? Like, if I'm the saving face person, am I saying the Dutch are mean?
It could be. It depends. I know that a lot of people, when they're working with somebody who's Dutch, they'll just go, oh, well, they're Dutch. Oh, well, this is expected. They're Dutch. That's how they behave.
So that's
the mental shortcut. Oh, they're Dutch. That's why.
Oh, got it.
And then they get a pass. All right. It's like, okay, somebody is from this culture. I am expecting this from them because they're from this culture.
She's from the East Coast.
She's from the East Coast. She's going to be more blunt. I actually grew up in Southern California, but I can't tell you how many times I've been asked, where are you from on the East Coast?
That's funny. So a heuristic is a mental shortcut with a judgment.
Yes, that's exactly
it. With a judgment. So that's where discrimination comes in.
It can. Yeah, that is where you need to be careful. That's exactly it.
In downtown Santa Cruz last night. And so you have to tell me how this fits with everything. But I'm driving to meet a client and somebody walks from the median. It's dark. They come out of the darkness and step into the road. And then the next person I see is like stumbling across the street. And I say, damn drug addicts in Santa Cruz. That's a heuristic?
That's a heuristic.
Oh,
that's an assumption. That's an automatic assumption. That's a mental shortcut. Your head just went straight there. That is exactly what a heuristic is.
Okay, so people do that about salespeople all the time in companies.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
And salespeople do it about everybody who's not them.
Yes.
And then it causes a lot of conflict. So
you get conflict between the engineers and the marketers. They're making everything fluffy. They don't know what's going on. They don't understand the technology. Sales guys, they're saying anything they possibly can in order to get the sale done. And they're screwing it up for the long term. Nobody understands the engineers.
How do you get them to see that they're in an already always repetitive mind loop about other people? How do you interrupt that?
You have to do cross-functional teams. Get them working together.
So they can identify people as humans and not a heuristic.
Yes. And also so that they can find each other's strengths and use them. Because when a marketer works with the salesperson's messaging is significantly better. The sale runs faster. It's smoother. There's better follow-up because the marketer can support the salesperson with the follow-up. They can, when they really work together, everybody gets more. And same thing in engineering. When engineering understands everything that's going on in the side of sales and marketing, and they understand what's actually selling and what the customer is saying, because often engineering is detached, right?
Right.
Maybe the company has CABs and PACs set up. CABs are customer advisory boards and PACs are product advisory councils. If they have CABs and PACs set up, then maybe they are, hearing what's going on with the customer. But a lot of the time, the engineers aren't at the CABs and PACs. It's marketing and sales and the executive suite. So everybody's siloed.
Yeah, you're talking about proximity. You're talking about proximity and actually learning about each other and experiencing each other and looking for the good in what this person is bringing. So talk to me a little bit about hormones. I mean, I know it's very popular now to say, I've been triggered. You triggered me, which I can't stand that because that's the epitome, in my opinion, of irresponsible. And
be responsible for your own actions and your own reactions.
Well, responsibility, which is my talk, is about knowing what your triggers are and that, oh, isn't that interesting? That person's triggering me. That's a conversation between self and self, not a conversation that you're triggering me because you remind me of somebody who used to be my boss, or because I hate my mother and she looked like you, which is not true. So tell me about hormones.
So hormones are things that are triggered like dopamine. If you have your phone next to you when you wake up, you are addicted to dopamine if it's the first thing that you look at. Cortisol. Now, the reason why I think it's very important to keep hormones in mind for all of this, when we're flooded with cortisol, when we're stressed, when we have stress, maybe a lot of stress going on at home, something's going on with our kids. When something's going on with your kids, nothing's right in life, right? That's all encompassing. When
your partner. Or your partner.
When all of these things are going on, you don't make the same decisions. Your decisions aren't as good. You make decisions out of a place of fear instead of a place of abundance. And that means you're turning it into a downward spiral.
Yeah.
So it is important to know what's going on at home with people. Are they okay? How do you pull them out of it? And how do you bring a culture of safety again at work so that they can say, you know what, I've got this situation at home, but I'm here, I'm present while I'm here. One great way to pull yourself out of that stress, cortisol gets cut off by endorphins. Go take a walk outside, go get your body moving. And if you don't have time for that, I often in my talks have people stand up and put their arms up for 2 minutes. You want to feel the burn. If you're in really good shape, take it, keep them up longer. Yeah, leave them up and listen to music that you really enjoy and get yourself pumped up and do that for 2 minutes. And when you bring your arms down, you'll feel the pain, but that pain will bring in endorphins and that will cut off the cortisol and that will help you make better decisions.
That's so good. That's why body intelligence works. That's why that whole wiggling when you are worried, just wiggle, 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 because you're moving that energy. So let's talk about hormones going crazy at work. So you talked about like a kid, something is going on at home, but I do know there's an awful lot of volatility, uncertainty, chaos, complexity.
And that also, all of that also brings in cortisol.
So you got number one competitor moving to the area, poaching your people, or you haven't brought any sales in, and so you're anxious. People always say to me, Maji, I have to have a reduction in force. Do I tell people? Maji, we're not doing well financially. Do I share that with people? And I where I stand is transparency is best, and you need to find out how they're handling it. But you might disagree. You might say it's actually better not to share the bad news, because then their hormones will go crazy, and maybe I'll change my tune.
So I actually think it's best for transparency. I agree with you completely there. But on top of that, I would also build in, okay, you're going to give them some type of bad news, build in something right after that brings them all together. Like go clean up a park together or something like this, something where it's a community and it's for the good of the community. Go paint a school, go do some volunteer work, something like this, where you're all doing something good together. That
what if
makes
you have 1,000 people?
You can still do something, some type of community event. You can still do maybe a barbecue for the entire company where you raise money for a charity.
So why does being a contributor soften the pain of the bad news?
That's a really good question. So it comes along with, it pulls in oxytocin.
Got it.
Oxytocin is also known as like the love hormone, but it's the mom hormone. It's all of these different names, but it is the hormone of community. It's the hormone of care. And it brings people closer together. So if you're going to introduce a stress as a potential loss of community, you want to counterbalance it with a community act.
That's so good, Shira. That's so good. I'm feeling like I got to text my client right now and tell him that. But that's really good. I never really thought of, because I've said to people, we're really small business here, and we're spending a lot of money and to do things, and so we got to bring in money. But then I don't say, okay, let's go do something as a team that can help us all bring in money. So
that can help us feel better so that we feel closer together. And when we feel closer together, we want to support each other. And when we want to support each other, then we're going to work harder to make sure that this group stays a unit.
Yeah. And I get that if we were to just have a party, like, oh, we're going to have a barbecue just for us, then it sort of makes people feel guilty. Wait, you just laid all those people off and now we're partying.
Now we're celebrating.
But if we're doing something for others, like we're gonna and I'm also thinking, as you're saying, that if you're gonna have a reduction in force, you need to have offering like workshops for people to go out and get new jobs. That's not just a nice thing to do. It helps
other people feel better about the fact that they're leaving. That not only, okay, this person's leaving, but you will be taken care of as well.
Yeah.
Do they really care about me?
Yeah. The heuristics and the hormones get accomplished with that. Boy, oh boy, I got a lot.
And it also changes the history.
It's like a class for me.
It also changes the history, right? So it's not just the people who come into your company, it's the people who leave your company. And how do they feel after leaving? Can you set those things up? So that is, history's long. You want that history to be good.
I've been with the company a long time.
Yeah.
And somebody was talking yesterday about survivor's guilt. We had a mastermind about reduction of force because it's happening with a lot of companies right now. And she said that she was part of Williams-Sonoma when they had to terminate 25% of the workforce. And she said it was the survivor's guilt was so strong. And they did a lot of team events. She didn't talk about volunteering, but they did team events.
Yeah.
Okay. So hormones were triggered. Sales is blaming this one. How do we calm it all down? So first of all, perception, your whole thing is the perception formula. So I guess we need to realize that we're actually having a hormone reaction.
We can realize that for ourselves. We also need to realize it on the other side.
Yeah.
The perception formula can be taken in a lot of different ways. I've also put it together in a way where you can create a perception recipe. So a friend of mine, Sally, had an issue with somebody that works for her, loves the guy, thinks he's great. He's a really good worker, but there's a lot going on in his life and he uses his phone when he shouldn't. And they're on a construction site and that can be dangerous.
Mm.
So we went through and we took the perception formula and created a perception recipe, put that into both ChatGPT and Perplexity. And it came up with a set of directions for her on things she can do with him to get him to change his behavior.
Wow. So give me a sample of what a recipe would look like in their position, in that position. You this guy, he's a good worker, but he's being dangerous on the job because he's using his cell phone. He feels he has to use his cell phone because there's stuff going on at home.
Yes. Here's where he's from. Here's how he behaves. Here's how old he is. Here is his background. Here's how large his family is. Like as many details as you could possibly put in, you put in, and then the LLM will give you, okay, according to the perception formula, you want to think about this for his heuristics. We're assuming his heuristics are this, right? An LLM will give you,
What's an LLM? What's an LLM?
Oh, like ChatGPT or Perplexity. Okay. They're called AI systems, but in reality, they are large language models. Sorry, I'm a geek. They are actually large language models, which means that all they do is predict the next word, but they predict it really well.
I would say they're doing really well.
Yes, they predict it really well.
Like one of the things that because I'm an early adopter on all fronts, and one of the things that I've been doing is I'll give my thoughts to chat, and I'll say, turn this into a 3-paragraph summary, and I'm like, holy cow, they really synthesize that. And you know who else does that? Is Fathom. When like we're fathoming this, it's going to come out with like meeting notes. And you read it and you're like, how did they know that was the most poignant part of the call? I don't know how that would be a conversation for a different day.
It watches your reactions and it looks and it listens to the emotional cadence. So when emotions run higher, it knows at that point is more important.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So yeah, I'm a hyper geek. I use so many different platforms every single day.
Wow. I'd love to talk to you more about that. I bet you could use it for writing a book. Like,
because
you can. Fathom can see you. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So back to the perception formula.
Yes.
Put all of those four.
You put as much information as you can. Well, you're not going to know their heuristics necessarily, right?
Okay.
That's the reason why I'm using the LLM. I don't expect the person on the other side. I don't expect anybody to be reading Daniel Kahneman. I don't expect anybody to be reading Andrew Taylor. I don't expect them to be reading Tversky or any of them, right? So instead, but the LLM knows all these things already. It's been taught on the internet. So you put that in, and then you put the framework in. And with that, it will give you, well, we're assuming his heuristics are this because of this. We're assuming the hormones that are triggered are these because of this. His history is this. The heritage is affecting it through this. And so here's the set of directions of what you can do, which is a perception recipe of what you can do in order to guide him to the direction you would like him to be doing instead of how he's behaving currently. It's basically a management tool.
I would love for you to, we're not set up today to do that, but man, to show people how to do that.
I'd love to.
Time would be so cool. Would it be hard to do it right now with me? So we've got 10 more minutes.
It takes a little longer than 10 minutes, but yeah. I have something right after this, but
with me, and I have a showcase. That the only thing I can think of is I have this showcase in a week and a half where there's 6 bureaus and they're going to be judging and evaluating me and giving me feedback, and I'm paying for it. I want to do it.
And you're doing the showcase through Impact 11.
Yeah, and then all that stuff. So we could either do that or we could do dating. What do you want to do? What would be more fun?
Oh, let's do dating. We'll do the other. We'll do the other one offline.
Okay. Okay. So what do you need to know? This is so fun.
What do I need for dating?
No, what do you need for the heuristic hormone history and heritage about me?
Okay. All right. So let me open up an LLM. Let's go for perplexity and let's open up a new one.
I never heard of perplexity.
Perplexity.
Is it better than chat, or you're not allowed to say that?
Okay. Here's the issue with all of them. I can't say that any of them are better than the other. They're better at different things. The other thing is that because they're all being constantly updated, one will get an update that makes it better than all of the others for like a few days or maybe even a week or two. And then somebody else will get an update that makes it better than the others. So it's there is no best. That's why I pay for Perplexity, ChatGPT, Claude, which is Anthropic, and Gemini. I pay for 2 versions of Gemini. I pay for the personal one because that gives you the more advanced models as well as the professional one. And I use Llama, which is Meta's AI. And I test
well, that's
Mistral.
Too many for me, but let's go back to the dating.
Okay, so let's go back to the dating. Okay, tell me about your situation. Tell me about the guy.
Well, I don't have a guy right now, but I can tell you my situation is I've been divorced for 20 years.
Okay.
The first 10 years, I was not dating for anything serious. I had kids and there was just never a possibility I would ever bring anybody into their life. That was a boundary for me. So it was goofing around. Since I moved to California, I say I'm looking for the ideal man, but my behavior has been incongruent with looking for the ideal man. And I have not been even smitten really in 2 decades. I've been enamored, but not smitten. Is that enough history?
That's a little bit. Now, what's your background?
I'm Italian, one of 5 kids.
Which order?
I'm 4 out of 5. This is the bad part. I'm sure you're going to put it in and it's going to say I'm contaminated. My father was a drug addict, and I have done all the work on that. I really have. Tell ChatGPT that I've done over 10,000 hours of therapy, large group self-awareness. I teach the stuff. I've been to the jungle. I've done ayahuasca. You name it, I've done it. And
how was your mom?
Sweet and loving. Jesus was her everything. She also was codependent, but she very loving and sweet, and raised really good kids who all go out and contribute in the world. My brother is the award-winning best brother in the world. Hard worker, compassionate, takes care of his family. I have a lot of male clients, a lot of male friends who are either married or too young for me or too old for me. And when I say too young, like 20 years too young, and too old.
How old are you?
I mean 20 years too old. Do I have to say that on live TV?
Do you want to text it to me?
No, you can say 60. I just turned 60. I guess 60 is the new 40.
Okay.
All right. So what does this mean?
Oh, hold on a second. I'm putting it all in.
Have we lost our viewers yet? I'm sure anybody who's single or looking for a job will want to know this. And notice how I gave her all of it. I didn't hold anything back.
Okay. I put in, Maggie has been divorced for 20 years. She wasn't dating for the first 10 years. She said she's been looking for the ideal man, but her behavior has been incongruent and she hasn't even been smitten in 2 decades. She's just turned 60. Italian American. She's the 4th child out of 5. Her father was a drug addict. She's worked on it with therapy. Mother was sweet and loving. Jesus was her everything. Also a bit of codependent. Using the perception formula, perception equals F, function of heuristics, hormones, history, and heritage. Explain what she needs to do to get a serious partner.
Oh my God. This is like you put the formula in ChatGPT or whatever?
Yes. Now
Okay,
the
fine.
answer.
What does it say?
It says, to help Maggie find a serious partner at 60, we need to consider her unique situation through the lens of the perception formula. Perception equals the function of heuristics, hormones, history, and heritage. Let's break down each component and provide recommendations. Heuristics. Maggie's decision-making shortcuts may be influenced by her long period of not dating and her idealized version of the perfect man. To address this, reassess expectations. Encourage Maggie to reflect on her definition of an ideal man and consider whether it's realistic or limiting her options. Practice openness. Suggest she be more open to different types of men, even if they don't initially match her ideal. Hormones. At 60, Maggie's hormonal changes may affect her approach to relationships. Embrace physical changes. Encourage Maggie to accept and feel confident about her body as it is now. Prioritize self-care. Recommend regular exercise and a healthy diet to boost energy and mood, which can positively impact dating experiences. History. Maggie's past experiences, including her divorce and family background, play a crucial role. Continue therapy. Suggest ongoing therapy to address any lingering issues from her father's addiction and her divorce. Reframe past experiences. Help Maggie see her 20 years post-divorce as a period of growth rather than a setback. Heritage. As an Italian American and the fourth of 5 children, Maggie's cultural background may influence her approach to relationships. Embrace cultural strengths. Encourage Maggie to draw on positive aspects of her heritage, such as strong family values and passion for life. Challenge limiting beliefs. Help her identify and overcome any cultural expectations that may be hindering her dating life. Action plan for Maggie. And by the way, I will send all of this to you. I can share this with you.
So if I'm a manager, I'm just looking at this, forget about dating right now.
Wait, do you want to hear the action plan first?
I do, but I'm thinking about a manager. They need this formula because they don't know what to do. They're at their wits' end. This person is not producing, or they're not showing up the way they need to, or they're just coasting through the day. The impression is they're just taking money, like all that stuff that goes on in managers' heads. And they just put this in ChatGPT and they have it. You need to tell everybody about this, but tell me my action plan.
I'm working on the book. Okay, action plan for Maggie. Expand social circle. Join community groups, take classes, or volunteer to meet like-minded individuals. Try dating online. Create a profile on a reputable senior dating site, being honest about her interests and what she's looking for.
Senior dating site.
This is perplexity. It's not me. Practice self-reflection. Encourage Maggie to journal about her dating experiences and feelings to gain clarity on what she truly wants. Be proactive. Suggest that she initiate conversations and show interest in potential partners rather than waiting for the perfect man to appear. Focus on shared interests. Look for partners who share her passions for travel, arts, or other hobbies she enjoys. Cultivate independence. Ensure Maggie has a fulfilling life outside of dating to avoid becoming overly dependent on a potential partner. Practice effective communication. Encourage Maggie to be open and honest about her intentions and expectations from the outset of any new relationship.
Encourage her to be honest.
Open and honest about her intentions and expectations from the outset of any new relationship.
Good.
Stay positive. Remind Maggie that many people find love later in life, and her experiences have prepared her for a meaningful relationship. Be patient. Advise Maggie that finding the right partner takes time, and to enjoy the process of meeting new people without rushing into a serious commitment. Seek support. Encourage Maggie to lean on friends and family for emotional support and advice through her dating journey. By addressing each aspect of the perception formula and following this action plan, Maggie can address her chances of finding a serious partner who aligns with her values and desires. Remember, it's never too late to find love, and Maggie's life experiences have equipped her with wisdom that can contribute to a fulfilling relationship.
So this is so good on so many levels. First of all, I think dating coaches could use this because this is like right out of a dating coach conversation. And I'm happy to know that I'm on the right track. And I do think I haven't been open. Lately, I've been reframing. So I love that. That's new. I haven't been as open. And you know what I haven't done? I realized this is so good because this is a validation. I feel like the universe is talking through you and perplexity. When I went through the divorce, I met with this woman named Dr. Fran, and Dr. Fran learned Gestalt therapy through Esalen. And when I was telling her all about myself and that I was a seminar leader and what I wanted in an ideal relationship, she said, you need to go to Esalen. You need to go to Esalen. You need to go to Esalen. Took me 10 years to get to Esalen. And now I only go like once every other year. And when I was just there, so many people were telling me that they met their spouses there. And I was like, why? I live 90 minutes from that place. Why aren't I going more often? Why aren't I in communities of spirituality and in learning and meditation? And it's all new for me in the last, since I went to the jungle. I am now doing what Dr. Fran told me to do. So I must not have been ready until I went to the jungle. But anyway, that's a different story for a different day. This is fascinating. So Shira, if I'm just listening to this, you don't have a book yet.
I don't have a book yet, but I've been writing a lot about it. So you could go to my site and read all my articles.
Good. What is your site and how do we get you?
Shira Abel, shiraabel.com, ShiraAbel.com. I'm also on LinkedIn. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I'm on YouTube.
I got to follow you. I got to follow you.
Please. That would be lovely.
.com. Well, I love it. Honestly, I love it. I love the formula. I think, just a personal, what I know about employers is it's going to be like, oh my God, so many things to remember, but it really isn't.
But it's not, because formula, and then you stick it into an L. That's exactly why I've been talking about behavioral science and hormones and all of this and behavioral economics. I've been talking about this for 15 years now. And what has changed and the reason why I feel now that it could really make a breakthrough in people's lives is because they don't need to read all the books. They don't need to go through all of that. The information is already in the LLM. Just put in the framework and putting the information that you have. And, it can be, it's there.
Is that formula that you spouted off, is that in your blogs? Like,
yes.
Because I would just call it the 4-H and then nothing's going to come up. So you said something
it's
like
in my
F equals C squared or...
Yes.
What is the formula?
The formula is perception is equal to F, which is function, parentheses, heuristics, comma, hormones, comma, heritage, comma, history. It doesn't actually matter the order you put them in. They're all equal. So, and then parentheses. And it's all in my blogs. It's all online. I'm writing about it. I'm talking about it. Thank you.
So good. You and I need to speak at the exact same conferences.
Would love to. Pull me in.
I go high level, shifting friction to flow, but you actually tell them how to do it interpersonally with people. I love this. Okay. So anything else we need to know about you before we complete? My mom has been coaching me, my 85-year-old loving mom, that nobody wants to watch anything that's longer than 40 minutes.
Wow. I'm available to be booked.
Awesome. You're great. Thank you so much. And to everybody, really just try it on. Put one of your own challenges in there. Use the formula of, I just wrote it down, perception equals F, parentheses, heuristics, hormone, heritage, and history.
Yeah.
And then you got to tell them the story, right? Or no, you tell the story first. And then using this formula, tell me what coaching I would give. Any coach could use this. You need to speak at the International Coaching Federation.
Would love to.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. If you want to be liberated at work, free at work, lean into learning about people and stop projecting your stuff, your heuristics on everybody, if you can do that. All right. Thank you so much. Bye.